The Earth, Mother Gaia, aka Terra Christa, and humanity are undergoing a consciousness shift from the three-dimensional reality into the fifth-dimensional reality. What I'm gonna do is I am actually taking my time to break down a lot of terms for you guys. That way you would have a clear understanding of what star seeds light workers are talking about, when you hear these things, because I understand it could be very hard and frustrating for people who have no idea what ascension, 3 dimension, 5 dimension, stuff like that. They have no idea what that means, and they are sincere and they're trying to seek for answers, but they're a little bit confused. So in this video I will break down some of these terms for you, as well as give you an update. All right, let's get into it. First off, we breaking down dimensions. 3 dimension, 4 dimension, 5, the 5th dimension. So dimensions are not locations. Dimensions are not a physical place that you go. Dimensions are levels of consciousness. Right? Dimensions are levels of consciousness. And in each higher dimensions exists a broader spectrum of reality, awareness, knowledge, and a greater knowing. All right, and in higher dimension, we experience more freedom, greater power, and more opportunity to create our reality. In each and higher dimensions, things manifest, our needs, our desires manifest a whole lot quicker. Okay? So, now, with that being said, let's talk about the 3rd dimension. When people hear about the 3rd dimension, even when I used to hear about the 3rd dimension, I used to thought it was like, it's this physical place, this wall, or this lamp, this laptop, this phone, but nah. The 3rd dimension, I have learned, and I'm glad to share with you all, that the 3rd dimension is not a physical place either. The 3rd dimension is a state of consciousness. Consciousness. We dealing with consciousness here, ladies and gentlemen. We're not dealing with physical material things. We are dealing with consciousness. A consciousness shift is happening. The 3rd dimension is a consciousness, okay? And that consciousness is very limited and is very restricted. The 3rd dimension is a very limited, restricted reality. A fake reality put down here by the false archon leaders, the Luciferian minions. The 3rd dimension runs on a rigid set of rules and limited beliefs system. Okay? And there is a solid belief in duality, judgment, hate, fear runs rampant in the 3rd dimension. In the 3rd dimension, it takes longer to manifest our reality. Okay? So, 3rd dimension is not a place, it's a state of mind. Some characteristic traits of a 3D minded person they are egocentric. They are slave to their ego. Service to self. They are selfish. They're all about themselves. Polarization, division, separation, control. They want to control everything you do. Status. They're all about status. They want to be some type of person in this world. Materialism, linear thinking, fear, lower emotions, fear-based programming, manipulations, victim mentality. Dense, they are slow, they are heavy, and they are toxic. Those are 3D minded people. Moving on, right? Moving on, as the earth moves on, these people in the next decade or two will move on to other three-dimensional planets, so they could continue with their life lesson, because they have not learned their lesson here on this planet. So they will get taken off and go to a different planet and continue with their 3D minded lifestyle. Moving on. 4D, baby. The fourth dimension. This is the bridge where many of us are at right now. We're on the bridge of the fourth dimension, and this bridge, this trip in the fourth dimension is relatively short. It's a relatively short trip. Okay, we are traveling from the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, and as we travel from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension, we are being prepared to enter into the fifth dimension. Okay, feelings of the fourth dimensions are moments of awakening, moments of awakening, like euphoric moments, like that. I get it. That type of moment. Everything in us and around us seems lighter. Okay, it's less rigid, and fear is dissolving. Fear, we no longer lived in fear. Okay, fear is dissolving. Time is no longer linear in the fourth dimension. When you are experiencing love, joy, gratitude, you are experiencing 4D consciousness. And may I add, when you are living out the fruits of the divine spirit, you are experiencing 4D and 5D, even higher consciousness. We're going to talk about it in another video. Moving on to 5D, baby. The fifth dimensions. All souls have a choice to enter the fifth dimension, given they have assimilated enough light to hold those energy levels that exist in the higher dimensions. Those that are here now, and those that are here to stay and to make the transition into the fifth dimension and higher reality, will experience some intense changes as their minds, bodies try to adapt to this radical transformations required to make this shift. Remember, the fifth dimension is not where it ends, as each dimension vibrates higher than the one below. Fifth dimension, it keeps going. All right, there's the sixth, there's the seventh, there's the eighth, there's the ninth. I think it goes on to 12. But not to digress. In order for you to live in the fifth dimension state of consciousness and stay there, all mental and emotional baggage must be left at the door. Okay? No fear, no hostility, no guilt exists in the fifth dimensions. You will have mastery over your thought, and manifestation is instantaneous, baby. And people will communicate telepathically. Yeah, I'm already communicating telepathically with my guides, my higher self, my mom, my dad. We're already doing that, all right? So people will communicate telepathically, which means we will be able to read each other's thoughts and feelings, okay? The fifth dimension is what is commonly known as heaven. This heaven is more of a state of being rather than an actual place to go. It is more like a vibrational reality. Remember, the dimensions are not locations, it's levels of consciousness. All right. Some characteristic traits of the fifth dimension before I go, ladies and gentlemen. Some characteristic traits of a 5D minded person. Remember the fruits of the spirit? If you have all fruits of the spirit, those are characteristic traits of a 5D and higher persons. But I'll give you a little bit extra onto that. Unity consciousness is one of them. Aligning with the divine is another one. Heart-centered, service to others, purpose-based, connectedness, authenticity. I ain't fake, I ain't perfect, but I'm real, I'm authentic. You feel me? Activated senses, a flow state, abundance, source information, guided, supported, co-creator, universal knowledge, unconditional love and sharing, and many, many more. Hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have learned about the 3D, 4D, and 5D. Alright? And I'm gonna see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe.